If you're over 70 and think walking more will keep you young, you might want to hear this, because too much walking could actually be speeding up your aging. And it's not your fault. No one talks about this part. It sounds strange, doesn't it? We've been told our whole lives that walking is one of the best things you can do for your body. It's simple, low impact, and it keeps you moving. But here's the part they don't always tell you. After a certain age, your body doesn't respond to movement the way it used to. In fact, doing more of the same thing, especially something like long, repetitive walks, can start to wear you down instead of build you up. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should give up walking altogether. Far from it. Movement is still key to staying independent and feeling good. But how you move and how much you move matters more now than ever. And if you've been walking long distances every day, pushing yourself to go just a little farther because you thought it would help you stay young, well, there's a better way. So today, we're going to unpack this together. We're going to talk about what actually happens in the body after 70 that makes too much walking more harmful than helpful, and more importantly, what you can do instead to protect your joints, boost your energy, and feel stronger, not more tired, as you age. Let's start with this: why walking long distances can backfire after 70. You see, your muscles, joints, and connective tissues all go through natural changes with age. Your cartilage thins, your tendons lose some of their elasticity, and your muscles don't recover as fast. When you were 40, maybe even 60, a 2-mile walk wasn't a big deal. But now, it can take a lot more out of you than you think, especially if you're doing it every day without enough recovery. One of the big issues here is inflammation. With aging comes a slower, less efficient repair system in the body. That means when your knees or hips get a little inflamed from that daily walk, they don't bounce back like they used to. And if you're walking long distances without rest or mixing in other kinds of movement, that inflammation can build up, leading to soreness, stiffness, and eventually wear and tear that speeds up joint aging. And we haven't even touched on fatigue yet. How often have you gone for a walk, hoping it would energize you, only to come home and feel totally drained afterward? That's because your energy reserves, like your muscle glycogen and mitochondrial function, aren't what they used to be either. If your walk is too long or too intense, your body ends up using more energy than it can easily recover. Instead of feeling refreshed, you feel worn out. Now, let's be clear, this doesn't mean walking is the enemy. It just means the kind of walking that once worked for you might not be what your body needs anymore. The key now is smarter, more intentional movement that works with your aging body, not against it. That brings us to the first shift you can make. Shorten your walks and spread them out. Rather than going out for a long, single walk each day, try breaking up into 2 or 3 shorter walks. 10 to 15 minutes at a time is plenty. Not only does this reduce strain on your joints and prevent overuse, but it also keeps your blood flowing more regularly throughout the day. You'll feel more energized, not exhausted. Plus, shorter walks allow you to stay more aware of how your body's feeling. If your knee starts acting up, you're not already halfway around the block. You can pause, rest, stretch, whatever you need. You stay in control, instead of pushing through pain just to finish a route you committed to. And while we're on the topic of walking smarter, let's talk about the surface you're walking on. Sidewalks, pavement, concrete. These surfaces don't give. They're hard on the joints, especially when repeated daily. If possible, switch things up. Find a grassy park trail, a dirt path, or even walk in a mall where the flooring is slightly softer. It may seem like a small thing, but over time it makes a huge difference in how your knees and hips feel. Next, let's talk about posture and pace. When we walk, especially if we're doing it alone or just trying to get it done, it's easy to slip into bad habits, like leaning forward, shuffling, or keeping the head down. That puts strain on your back and neck, and changes your gait in ways that can throw your whole body out of alignment. Instead, think about walking as an opportunity to reset your posture. Keep your chin up, shoulders back, and take shorter, more deliberate steps. Let your arms swing naturally. It may take some getting used to, but it engages more muscles in the right way and helps support your spine instead of dragging it down. Now, here's where things are even more interesting, because walking, while beneficial in short bursts, doesn't actually do much for muscle strength. And that's where most people get surprised. After 70, we naturally start to lose muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia. It's a big driver of weakness, instability, and yes, accelerated aging. If we're only walking and not doing anything to actively build or maintain muscle, we're not doing enough to fight that process. That's why it's so important to pair walking with another type of movement, one that helps maintain or even rebuild the strength your body needs. And we'll get to exactly what kind of exercises those are next, but just know this for now. You don't need to walk farther to stay young. You just need to move smarter. So if you've been walking every day, feeling more tired than strong, or noticing that old aches and pains are sticking around longer, it's not your imagination. Your body is talking to you. And it's time to start listening a little closer, not by doing more, but by doing better. Let's explore exactly what movements can help reverse that damage and support your body in this next chapter of life. Because there's a much better way forward, and it starts with one small shift. Now that you know walking longer isn't necessarily better, and might even be working against you, it's time to shift the focus to something most people over 70 overlook: strength. Not the kind that requires lifting heavy weights in a gym or doing anything extreme. I'm talking about building the kind of strength that helps you get out of a chair with ease, carry groceries without strain, and keep your balance when you're reaching for something on a high shelf. That kind of strength is what really keeps you young. You see, muscles aren't just for bodybuilders or athletes. They're your internal armor. They hold your joints in place, protect your bones, and help regulate your metabolism. But after 70, your body naturally starts breaking down muscle faster than it builds it. And the more muscle you lose, the more effort even simple things like walking or standing takes. This is why so many older adults who walk every day still feel weak. Walking doesn't stimulate your muscles enough to maintain their strength. It mostly uses your legs, and only at a very light intensity. But when you start adding in even just a little bit of resistance training, that's when your body really begins to respond. Now, before you start picturing barbells and gym memberships, let me stop you right there. Strength training after 70 doesn't have to be intimidating or complicated. In fact, some of the best exercises you can do require nothing more than your own body weight and maybe a chair. Simple movements like standing up from a chair without using your hands, holding onto the back of the couch while doing mini squats, or even pressing your palms together in front of your chest to activate your arms and shoulders. These are all incredibly effective. They activate your largest muscle groups and teach your body how to stay stable, strong, and energized. Another underrated activity: wall push-ups. Stand a couple feet from a wall and lean forward with your hands flat on the wall. Then push yourself back. It strengthens your chest, arms, and core without putting stress on your joints. And it can be done anywhere, anytime. What matters most is consistency. Doing just 10 minutes a day of focused strength movements can completely shift how you feel. You'll notice better balance, less soreness, more energy, and even better sleep. Why? Because your muscles start pulling their weight again, literally. And let's not forget the core. Your core isn't just your stomach. It's everything from your ribs down to your hips. It's what keeps you upright and stable. Without a strong core, you're more likely to trip, lose balance, and fall. That's why adding just a few seated core exercises, like lifting one knee at a time while sitting upright or doing gentle twists while seated, can be a game changer. Another crucial piece of the puzzle is something most people rarely talk about when it comes to fitness: mobility. Now, this isn't about touching your toes or doing yoga poses. It's about keeping your joints moving freely and smoothly so you don't feel stiff when you get out of bed or sore after a short walk. You can think of mobility as the oil in your engine. Without it, even the best muscles in the world won't move right. That's why you should spend a few minutes each day doing gentle movements that take your joints through their full range of motion. Rolling your shoulders, rotating your ankles, circling your wrists, slowly turning your head side to side. These small motions make a big difference. One of my favorite mobility moves is what I call the sunrise stretch. You sit on the edge of a chair, reach both arms up slowly, take a deep breath, and then exhale as you gently reach forward toward your knees. Do this 5 times in a row and you'll feel more open, more awake, and more limber almost instantly. Now, let's talk about something else that ties all of this together: balance training. This is a big one, especially after 70. It's not just about avoiding falls. It's about feeling confident when you move. Because when your body feels steady, your mind relaxes too. You don't have to stand on one leg like a flamingo to improve your balance. Just shifting your weight from side to side, standing with your feet close together for a few seconds, or walking heel to toe like you're on a balance beam. All of these simple drills help retrain your nervous system to stay alert and stable. Here's a quick one to try. Stand near a counter with your fingertips just lightly touching it for safety. Then slowly lift one foot off the floor and hold it for 5 seconds. Switch feet. Over time, you'll feel more control and less wobble. And that translates directly into more confidence when you're moving around your home or outside. So, at this point, you might be wondering if long walks aren't the best option, but strength, mobility, and balance are. What does a good daily routine actually look like? Great question. Think of it like this. Instead of spending 45 minutes on one long walk, break your movement into little movement snacks. Maybe you start your morning with 5 minutes of light stretches and mobility drills. Later, a short 10-minute walk around the block. In the afternoon, a few chair squats, wall push-ups, and balance drills. By the end of the day, you've done more than enough, and without exhausting yourself. And here's the best part. This kind of approach works with your body, not against it. You're not pushing past pain or fatigue. You're nourishing your body with movement that heals, strengthens, and refreshes. And remember, every time you choose to move with intention, instead of just logging miles on your feet, you're investing in a body that supports you for the long haul. That means more independence, more energy, and more of those little moments that make life sweet. Now, here's something most people don't realize, especially those of us who grew up believing that being tired just means you're doing something right. But as we get older, that kind of thinking starts to backfire. Exhaustion isn't a badge of honor anymore. It's a warning sign. If your body is constantly drained, sore, or achy, it's not because you're lazy or out of shape. It's because something in your routine needs to change. And often, that change starts with how you recover. Let's talk about recovery for a second. In your younger years, your body could bounce back quickly. A rough night's sleep, a long walk, a day of yard work. You'd be tired, sure, but the next day, you were fine. That bounce back speed slows down with age, and that's completely normal. What's not normal is ignoring it and continuing to push like nothing's changed. So many seniors feel discouraged when they can't do what they used to. They think it means they're declining. But what it really means is that the body needs more support. And the number one way you can give that support? Prioritize recovery just as much as activity. This doesn't mean lying on the couch all day. It means building rest and restoration into your day just like you do movement. Things like gentle stretching, taking a warm Epsom salt bath, doing deep breathing, or using a heating pad on tired muscles. These are not luxuries. They're tools. They give your body the space it needs to heal and rebuild. And when you let your body recover properly, you actually get stronger, not weaker. Even something as simple as elevating your feet for 15 minutes a day can help improve circulation, reduce swelling, and ease pressure off your joints. Or doing a short, guided relaxation session, maybe some light meditation or calming music while lying down with your eyes closed. It tells your nervous system, we're safe. It's okay to rest. That message goes a long way, especially when your energy isn't what it used to be. And speaking of energy, let's talk about something else that plays a huge role in how you move and feel, your breathing. Believe it or not, many people, especially after 70, don't breathe as efficiently as they think. Years of stress, shallow breathing, or even poor posture can train the body to take in less oxygen. And when you don't get enough oxygen, your muscles fatigue faster, your balance suffers, and your brain feels foggy. That's why I encourage adding breathing practice to your routine. Just a few minutes a day can make a huge difference. Sit tall, close your eyes if you're comfortable, and breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold it for a second, then breathe out gently through your mouth for a count of 6. Do this 5 times. That's it. It resets your nervous system, boosts oxygen flow, and helps you move through your day with more calm and focus. And while we're on the topic of posture and oxygen, it's time we touch on something that's quietly stealing your energy every day: poor posture. As we age, our bodies naturally tend to round forward. Shoulders hunch, necks crane, and back stiffen. It happens slowly, but over time, it changes the way we breathe, move, and even feel emotionally. You probably notice how much harder it is to take a deep breath when you're slouched forward. That's no accident. When your posture collapses, your lungs don't have the room to expand fully. That means less oxygen, less energy, and more fatigue. And over time, that lack of oxygen can actually age your cells faster. But the good news? You can gently correct posture at any age. Every time you sit down, take a moment to roll your shoulders back and down. Pretend there's a string lifting the crown of your head toward the ceiling. This one simple adjustment, done a few times a day, can relieve pressure on your spine, open up your lungs, and even improve your digestion. It's a small act with a big payoff. Now, before we move on, there's one more thing I want to bring up, and it might be the most overlooked part of all: listening to your body's whispers before they become screams. Too often, we brush off little aches, small shifts in energy, or minor stiffness. We tell ourselves, it's just part of getting old. But your body isn't trying to annoy you. It's trying to talk to you. Every twinge, every sigh, every stumble is a message. And when we start paying attention to those messages, we gain power. You might notice your knees feel fine in the morning, but ache by late afternoon. That could mean you're overdoing it midday and need to sprinkle in more rest. Maybe your back gets tight when you walk too long without stretching. That's your cue to pause and reset before it becomes a chronic problem. The body is incredibly wise. It's not working against you. It wants to move, heal, and thrive, but it needs your partnership, not your pushback. When you start tuning in, really listening, you'll find your body starts responding with more energy, more clarity, and more comfort. And look, I know all of this can feel overwhelming at first, especially if you spent the last few years thinking the more you walk, the healthier you'll be. That belief is deeply ingrained. But the truth is, as you enter your 70s and beyond, the rules change. What used to work might not anymore. And that's okay. That's not a failure. That's wisdom. That's growth. What matters now is not how many steps you take, but how well you move through your day with purpose, with awareness, with care. You don't need to walk farther. You don't need to push harder. You just need to move in ways that nourish your body and give it what it needs today, not what it needed 20 years ago. Because aging well isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. So now that we've unpacked how too much walking can wear you down and what your body actually needs more of, like strength, balance, mobility, and rest, it's time to bring all of this together into something real. Something you can take with you after this video ends and use to feel stronger, lighter, and more in control of your health. Because here's the truth: you're not fragile, you're not past your prime, and you're definitely not powerless. The way forward isn't about doing more of what used to work. It's about doing what works now for who you are today. You have the wisdom, the life experience, and the resilience that only come from time. And now, you have the knowledge to match it. You've seen how walking too much can backfire. You've learned why gentle strength building exercises, short bursts of intentional movement, and mindful recovery aren't just nice ideas. They're essential tools to help you stay young in the ways that count. Not just in appearance, but in how you move, how you think, how you feel. So where do you go from here? Start small. Maybe tomorrow morning, instead of heading out for a long walk right away, you take 5 minutes to stretch your arms overhead and move your joints gently. Maybe you walk for 10 minutes later in the day, then do some light balance work while brushing your teeth. Yes, that counts. Then maybe you end your day with a few wall push-ups or seated leg lifts and a few deep breaths to quiet the mind. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to take that first gentle step in a better direction. And here's something else you should hear. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to have energy left at the end of the day. You deserve to move through your home, your errands, your hobbies, without feeling like your body's fighting you every step of the way. You're not here just to get through your days. You're here to enjoy them. Maybe that means being able to get down on the floor to play with your grandkids. Maybe it means gardening without that ache in your lower back. Or walking into your favorite cafe, standing tall without shuffling or leaning on a cane. Whatever feeling young means to you, it's possible. But it's not about walking more miles or pushing through the pain. It's about learning to work with your body, honoring what it's been through and what it needs now. It's about movement that builds you up, not breaks you down. And if there's one thing I hope you remember from all of this, it's that small changes create lasting impact. You don't need to do a complete overhaul of your routine. You don't need to chase some unrealistic goal. You just need to listen, adjust, and stay consistent. That's it. In fact, if you only take away one thing from this entire video, let it be this. The goal isn't to walk farther, it's to move smarter. To treat your body not like a machine that needs more fuel and more miles, but like a trusted friend who's been carrying you for decades and now needs a little more care, a little more patience, and a whole lot of support. So as you move forward, be kind to yourself. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Notice the days you feel lighter, more steady, more alive. Those are signs you're on the right path. And don't forget, you're not alone in this. There are millions of people just like you, navigating aging with strength, grace, and curiosity. Share your story in the comments. Let us know what's worked for you, what hasn't, and what you're going to try starting today. Someone else might be inspired by you. And isn't that a beautiful thought? If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps more people like you find this information. And if you want more content about aging well, staying independent, and living a vibrant life after 60, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got so much more to share with you, because this chapter of your life, it's not the end. It's a beginning, a chance to redefine what aging looks and feels like, not as something to fear, but as something to own. Here's to living your best life, strong, balanced, and fully present at any age. You've earned it.